In August of 2021, the nearly 2-decade-long U.S. war in Afghanistan has come to an end. On August 15th, the Taliban retook Kabul, and shortly after, they re-established the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. The emirate was originally founded in 1996 after the Taliban had seized Kabul. Their group had formed in the aftermath of the Soviet intervention in Afghanistan. This first emirate lasted for only 5 years, and even then, they didn't control the whole country. They were opposed by the Northern Alliance, which received widespread international backing. The majority of Northern Alliance fighters have been Tajiks, who have close ties with their brethren in nearby Tajikistan. As in 1996, now, 25 years later, the majority of the resurgent Northern Alliance is Tajik. Tajiks are the second largest group in Afghanistan. The Tajiks speak an Iranian language, and have also been called the Eastern Persians in the past, or Farsiwan, which translates to something like Persian speaker. The majority of the victorious forces which have recently re-established themselves in Kabul are part of the country's largest ethnic group, the Pashtuns. Like the Tajiks, they are also an Iranian people, but speak a different dialect and are culturally distinct. Even though Pashtuns are a minority in Pakistan, their numbers there outnumber the entire population of Afghanistan. The influx of Pashtun migrants into Pakistan, and the influx of ideas into the region, has caused the Pakistani government some consternation, from a fear of uprisings and the growth of radical groups. However, despite their misgivings on the current situation, the fall of the ill-fated Republic of Afghanistan has been a bitter blow not only for the US, but also for India. Since the inception of the two countries, there's been an off and on again hot and cold war between India and Pakistan. Most conflict in recent decades has centered around the regions of Jammu and Kashmir. India had been very supportive of the Republic of Afghanistan, and has been staunchly opposed to the Taliban, who have supported dissidents in the Jammu and Kashmir regions. India is arguably the most likely foreign power to become involved in Afghanistan in the near future. They have supported the Northern Alliance in the past and are likely to do so again, but this time maybe with boots on the ground. The one thing that could possibly prevent this is if the Northern Alliance and the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan can negotiate some sort of mutually beneficial treaty. Something along the lines of, in return for acknowledging the government in Kabul, the Northeast could become its own autonomous region. Or another possibility, which I think would be very unlikely, is if the Emirate let the Northern Alliance split off and become its own country. But if a war between the Northern Alliance and the Emirate becomes prolonged, India may join, which could cause Pakistan joining, and the whole situation could devolve into a proxy war between India and Pakistan fought in Afghanistan. Or in a worst-case scenario, a hot war between the two nuclear powers, which would lead to a tragic and massive loss of life. Two more major nuclear powers that have a great interest in the future of Afghanistan is Russia and China. Russia almost certainly does not want to embark on another quagmire round 2 in Afghanistan, but they may want to play the role of a peacemaker or referee of some sort, which they've already been doing among many of the northern Stan countries. Russia, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan have all performed joint military drills near the Afghan border, and has promised to aid their allies if any violence spills over into their countries. Russia may be hesitant to send troops into Afghanistan, but one possible scenario where you may see troops there is Ruski peacekeepers to deter escalation, or support in special forces units, like they've done elsewhere. One major motivating factor for Russia sending in troops, besides the international prestige, would be to keep out their frenemy China from their traditional zone of influence in Central Asia. I believe China would only join the fray if the situation became chaotic enough, where they think they could grab some land without too much risk in the aggregate. China also has good relations with Pakistan, and poor relations with India, which could be another reason it could be pulled into the general region. The third largest ethnic group in Afghanistan is the Hazaras. They mostly live in the south of Afghanistan, and like their neighbor Iran to the west, they mostly practice Shia Islam. Although the Emirate is currently making peaceful overtures to the Hazaras, during their last stint in power in the 1990s, they were severely persecuted. If a similar situation repeats itself, Iran could become involved in Afghanistan. Well, those are the top 5 powers I believe are most likely to become involved in Afghanistan. If the Emirate of Afghanistan commits any major atrocities, that could be pretext for any of these powers becoming involved. In the last 2 decades, the founders of the revived Emirate of Afghanistan have become more tech-savvy and aware on international opinions on human rights. Their propaganda and rhetoric concerning women and minorities is kinder and gentler than before. But critics claim it's only a matter of time they will revert to their old ways and the slaughter will commence, which would likely trigger foreign involvement on some level, and another round of prolonged conflicts for this war-torn land. This video is just opinion and speculation on some scenarios I think might be possible. We are a few days away from the end of August, and let me know when you are watching this and what do you think the future holds for Afghanistan when you watch it. This has been Epimetheus. The links to the videos I've done on Afghanistan's history are down below in the description, over on my main channel. If you've enjoyed more casual content like this, subscribe to this second channel, leave a like, and watch some more. And as always, a big thanks to my patrons over on Patreon, who help me out with the cost of making these videos.